Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان في أحسن تقويم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Dear beloved Muslims, believers, that is, we seek refuge with Allah from Satan's rejected enemy. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah who has indeed created the human being in the best of modes. And I witness that there is no God but Allah, and I witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. Prayer and peace be upon Muhammad and upon his family and upon his companions and upon all of us. I come before you as a reminder, not a teacher, because Allah is the best of teachers. We give Allah thanks and praise with Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, and La ilaha illallah. And I greet you all with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah that Allah has blessed us to be able to make it to another Friday, the best day for the Muslim. And I say that often because it's the truth. You know, this Friday and every Friday after this is the best day for the Muslim. It's better than the Eid. It's better than the birthday of our children. It's better than your birthday, our birthday. This is the best day for the Muslim. And to be here, sitting where you are right now, on time, is the best for me. It's the best for you. Alhamdulillah. You know, I was looking at the news and Facebook this morning, and they always give like these, you know, Friday gets a good name and a bad name. You know, I was looking at it, and they said, oh, you have some people not going outside this Friday because it's what, Friday the 13th. You know, or they're superstitious about, you know, something's going to happen this Friday. And so when I was looking at this, I said, you know, alhamdulillah for common sense. You know, alhamdulillah for being Muslim, alhamdulillah for common sense. And I want to begin this khutbah, and the title is Investing in Community Life. And I want to begin by reading out of Surah 33, Ayat 21, where it says, لَقَدْ كَانَ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Again, it's لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Now, when we look at this, that is, I'm going to translate it first. That is, you have indeed in the messenger of Allah a beautiful pattern of conduct. and you have indeed in the messenger of Allah a beautiful pattern of conduct. Now, when we look at this ayat, this part of the ayat, it's, Surah 21, Surah 33, ayat 21, it says, Uswatan Hasana. It says a beautiful pattern of conduct. Uswatan Hasana. Now I could have said, and it says in Muhammad, or in the messenger. And it's talking about Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam here. It says in the messenger of Muhammad. Now I could have said lakum bi Rasulullahi uswatan hasana. It could have said be. Be is a prepositional phrase in the Arabic that means with or in. Like you say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know, some translate it in the name of Allah, but nothing can be in the name of Allah. You know, it's with the name of Allah. So right here we have the fi. Fi is another preposition that means in. So this is in Muhammad. In Muhammad's nature is a beautiful pattern of conduct. In his nature. So now it says Uswatan Hasana, a beautiful pattern of conduct. Now, and Hasana as well. Now, Muhammad, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, didn't just come for man. You know, it's, a lot of times said mankind. Now, to the I guess the unlearned person, mankind will be, you know, we're thinking about man, like I am, man, or the brothers who are sitting right here. No, we know by Imam Muhammad, may Allah have mercy on him and grant him the paradise. He said, man means mine, and woman means womb of mine. So right here, and the Quran backs up, of course, what he's saying. You know, because it says right here that Hasana is the feminine form of this word. It gives a feminine form because it's Taramabut at the end, right? So it says Uswatan Hasana. So it's letting you know that Muhammad came for not just me, man, but he came as a perfect pattern of conduct for the female as well, for the sisters as well. So when we look at Muhammad, we can't just look at him as, okay, he's a man prophet. All the prophets were men. No, when we look at Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we look at him and say he's a prophet for all peoples. Because when Muhammad the Prophet received revelation, he didn't receive revelation just for the Arabs. He didn't receive revelation just for the Africans, the Asians, the African Americans. No, he received revelation for everyone. Because in the mountain, when Muhammad went to the mountain, and the angel Jibril met him, and the reason, and we have to study Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason he went up there is because he was in confusion, and he didn't go up there as a 20-year-old guy, a 15-year-old guy, a 10-year-old boy. He went up there as a grown, full adult male. You know, that had a wife, children, everything. He went up there to the mountain because he was in confusion, because he saw all the ignorance around him, like we're surrounded by ignorance today, and said, "I need some respite. I need some peace in my life. Where can I get some peace from?" And so when Muhammad went to the mountain and met with Angel Jibril, and Angel Jibril squeezed him. We know the story, right? Ikra. He squeezed him once. Ikra. He squeezed him twice. He said, "I can't read." He said, and Angel Jibril was saying, "Read." And Muhammad said, "I can't." The second time he said, "I can't." And the third time he did what? Ikra. Bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min alaq. And this was the first revelation. You know, the Quran didn't come all at once. And it said that if the Quran was revealed on a mountain, it would have crushed the mountain, would have turned it into rubble, dust, sand. Now you think about the highest mountain you can think of, Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, so on and so forth, and you think about people who have died trying to get up this mountain. Think about people who have felt they came to some supernatural achievement coming up this mountain. And Muhammad, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, got this revelation, and it said received on what? Did he receive it by brain? Did Jibril write it in the sand and say, "Hey, you need to read this"? No, Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the revelation on his heart. What's the significance of this? What's the significance of the heart? Now, if we study the heart, it gives out much more than it takes in. It gives out much more than it takes in. Some scientists say 60-40, some say 70-30. But what they do know is that the heart pumps out a lot more than it takes in. And so, with this being revealed on the heart of Muhammad, what we see is that he came and it said read, and a lot of people give Muhammad a bad rap because they say, oh, he was the illiterate prophet. He didn't know how to read this and read that. Muhammad was intelligent. He was a big businessman. So don't say, oh, he didn't know how to do this. But what he was reading at this point was reading the creation. When it said Ikra, you have to think. We get burdened down by bills and family life and whatever else might be going on. Donald Trump did this or so and so did that, and we get burdened down by these look small, insignificant things. But Muhammad, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was asked to Ikra, read the creation, and it came as a command. It's in the command form of the verb. Ikra, read, and when he was asked to read, he's looking at all of this, ignorance and discord and so on and so forth in the creation, and now he has to take on this huge burden on his shoulders and say, okay, you are the prophet for not just man, not just for the Arabs, not just for the Africans. You're the prophet for everybody, and you're going to be the prophet for everybody for all time. You're the seal of the prophets. So he's taking on this huge undertaking to be a prophet. And so when we study the life of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is why I was talking about investing in community life. When we take a look at Muhammad the Prophet uh, uh, and his past, now in the Quran, and he says this, he says, "I have lived a lifetime amongst you." How did he live a lifetime amongst them? Because he was what? 40 years old when he received revelation. 40 years old. So he says, I've lived a lifetime amongst you. Because Muhammad the Prophet, he wasn't ever into the normal things we're into. When we look at it, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he his 40 years on this earth without any Quran or revelation or anything like that is better than that some of us for the 35 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 years we've been on this earth. His life was better than our life probably today, spiritual wise, because he never involved himself with any drugs. He never involved himself with womanizing. Never involved himself with alcohol. He never would speak bad to people, think bad of people. A lot of us have that problem, right? We might curse, slip up and cursing every now and again. Might not like, the brother didn't give me the salams the right way, or somebody stepped on my shoe. So, and the prophet never got angry at that kind of stuff. He never got angry at that kind of stuff. So when it says I lived a lifetime amongst you, you have to look at this man nickname was Elamim. What's our name? Nicknames. Some of our nicknames. Dog, bruh. Even say Achiron. And these are the names that was given to and the name that was given to Muhammad, one of his nicknames was Elamim. This is before he's the prophet. One of his nicknames was Elamim. And it wasn't just it was, and it comes when we look at it, it's El Amin. It's the trustworthy. It's not just trustworthy. Yeah, he's trustworthy. It said Elamim. El is the definite article in Arabic, meaning the. So he was the trustworthy. With me, or with us, I should say. Sometimes, you have people leave their keys, their goods with the prophet, and he would take great care of it. It'll be just like they left it, or even better when they came back. Now, if I came and asked you, hey, you going out of town? Can I use your house? You going out of town? Can I use your car? You look at me like, oh, please stop. Use my what? And it's like, oh, am I not trustworthy enough? No, you're not. and so, when we look at Muhammad's life, and we see the internalization, the how he was, like I said, he was in him was a beautiful pattern of conduct. It said it was asked of Aisha, uh, may Allah have mercy on her and grant her the paradise, that tell us the scholars, the scholars were asking the Sabiqun, tell us something about Muhammad. Tell us something about Muhammad. She said he was kana khuluquhul Quran. He was not just the walking Quran, he was the embodiment of the Quran. And only a person who lived 40 years of clean life could embody the Quran like he had. So back to the other side. Muhammad was not just a monk. He wasn't. He didn't retire all the time and just say, "I'm not going to do anything social. I'm not going to do any business." Because this is Jumu'ah, yes, but it says after Jumu'ah, what? Disperse and go back to traffic and trade. Not just disperse and take the rest of the day off, relax. Now, if you got the day off of work, you go ahead and do that. But if you got your own business, you go ahead and do that. But if it says go back to traffic and trade after this Jumu'ah, after this Khutbah, then that's what we should be doing. Building, investing in community life. We have to get money to invest in community life. So Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ was a businessman. He was a businessman. And it said that the spiritual and the business is like this. It should balance each other out. Our spiritual life and our economic life should balance each other out. If we have all the spirit in the world, but no material representation, then we falling behind. If we got all the spirit in the world, we read Quran, we know this hadith, we know about the seerah, so on and so forth. We could quote Ghazali, we could quote Imam Muhammad, but we have no true spiritual or we don't have a representation of our spiritual life, then we're falling behind. And this is the time we're working to do this. We're working to get a spiritual representation or a physical representation of our spiritual life. And so this is investing in community life. Now, I'm not from, but my father and mother were part of the Nation of Islam. And when I was looking at it, I said, we haven't even been 100 years in this country Muslim. Nation, African Americans, Nation of Islam, and we're not the Nation of Islam. Yes, we know that. But growing up, the Nation of Islam. I was born in '83, so the Nation of Islam didn't exist anymore. But I will say Nation of Islam tendencies existed, and you have the good, you have the bad. But what we're taking now is the good. We haven't even been here 100 years, but look at all we have accomplished. The Civil Rights Movement, we did that. The educating brothers that are in the penitentiary, because so when they get out, they could be productive citizens and not go back. We did that. Establishing masajids all over the United States. We did that. So we have to understand that it hasn't even been 100 years. And we've come from being the dregs of society. I'm not even going to dignify the word that they always call us and used to call us, but I'm gonna give you the definition: lazy, lethargic, shiftless, no good. And they used to call the N word. They used to call us that all the time, right? Some still do. But we've come so far from being, second class, third class citizens, less than a animal, less than a dog. A dog got more right, have more rights than the African American, and we've come from all that way, not even in 100 years, to be able to read Quran, to be able to pray the right way, to be able to love each other, to be able to not say, "Oh, my black skin is ugly," but black is beautiful. We've come all this way. We've come so far in less than 100 years. Because when we look at societies for in 100 year span, that's the first 100 years represents what that society is going to be defined as. And I say, before we even reach that 100 years, our society is in good shape. I was with my father, and we were visiting my brother. He's in the military. And so we were going through the checkpoint, and we had to give our licenses up. And so he looked at my license. He said, "Man, you just don't know what we went through for you to be able to have this name on this license today." He said, "You have no idea. Tajiddin Ahmed. You have no idea." And I said, and that's when that sparked my curiosity. But then on top of that, you have people that look at us and say, "Well, I want to be like that." The sisters, our beautiful sisters, they can, if when they walk out in society in their modest clothing and their hijabs and things like that, yeah, you see that Muslim 100, 1,000%. But us, if I'm just walking in a regular suit and tie, unless I have a kufi, a thobe, or some sandals or something like that on, I don't have. A lot of people wouldn't know that I'm Muslim. So we have to have taqwa, God consciousness, right? Because if I have that taqwa, if I have that God consciousness, then brothers and sisters, my representation is going to be that of the Muslim, that of the movement, mu'mina, because I'm walking with taqwa. I knew in a place I used to work, there was this guy that came in that would buy from a friend of mine, and this guy was one of the baddest people you can know on the south side of Atlanta, and so and he had reputation in the street for doing all kind of stuff. And so he asked, so it was my wife and another sister. And so he asked me, he said, "Hey man, what's the thing they be wearing on their head?" I said, "What, a scarf?" He said, "Nah, man, nah. It's called something else. It's called something else." I said, "What, a hijab?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, hijab, hijab. Yeah, man. That make them look so good." And this coming from a true blue Negro. And so I said, Alhamdulillah, our sisters walk around dignified because you have all these, and this, I'm speaking to my sisters right now. For those who want to take that off or remove this, don't, because it dignifies you. It makes a gangster thug look at you with respect. Your dress is respect. Just like our dress, brothers, our taqwa dress is respect. Because you have people, when you're around them, you might not say a word about being Muslim. You might not say, "Oh yeah, Assalamu alaikum, I'm Muslim, Alhamdulillah," or anything like that, any Arabic or anything like that. They might not see you pray or anything. But the way you carry yourself will let them know, "Oh man, you different. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't club, you don't use vulgar language, you don't womanize, you don't do this, you don't do that. You carry yourself, kind of peacefully." I've had people tell other people this. I've had people tell me this. They said, "Oh, you pray a lot. You go to church a lot." I said, "I do go to my place of worship a lot, yes." "Oh, you look like you pray a lot. You pray a lot?" "Yes, I do." Oh yeah, because it just looked like some light coming off. It's some light coming off, and that's what the people in the secular world sees. They see the light of El Islam because it made me think about this surah 24 and 35, and it's the verse of light, or that's what it's called, but where it says Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of his light is as if there were a niche, and within it a lamp. The lamp enclosed in glass. The glass is as it were a brilliant star, lit from a blessed tree and an olive. Neither nor the east nor west, whose oil is well nigh luminous, through fire scarce touched it. Light upon light. Allah do guide whom He will His light. Allah do set for parables for men, and Allah do know all things. Now, when these things happen, I think about surahs like this. Where it says Allah's light is like a niche in a lamp. And dear believers, that's how we are. Our light that Allah has given us with the Quran. And this is why we have to get the Quran. This is investing in community life. But in order to invest in community life, we have to do what first? Invest in us. Invest in yourself. Because Allah says, save yourselves and what? Your family. It don't say just save your family. It's just like if whoever has been on an airplane, if they say in case of emergency, if when the oxygen mask come down, put yours on first. Then take care of your child, your wife, and so on and so forth. Why? Because if I don't take care of myself first, I might not be around to take care of the rest. So our light is like in this society right now, as it is. Our light is what shines bright, dear believers. It's like the sun, whether it's cloudy, whether it's rainy, whether it's dark. The sun is still there. The sun is constant. The sun is still there, whether it's dark, rainy, cloudy, or anything. And when the darkness removes itself, the sun doesn't miss a beat. When the rain removes itself, the sun doesn't miss a beat. It's still shining. It's still there. It's still bright. And that's how our faith has to be. That's how our belief in Allah has to be. It has to be still shining, still bright. And we the only way we can do that is investing in ourselves by doing what? Reading Quran. Learning the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's the only way we're gonna be able to invest in community life, because we have to know community life first. And the Quran breaks down community life all the way. The Quran breaks down any life all the way. So in order for us to do that, and the people will want your light, they want your light. And alhamdulillah, we'll have enough light, and we know enough to be able to give it to them. Because what's the first, if you ever sold anything, ever worked in any type of retail, the first thing they teach you is, if you're going to be working in this business, you have to have what? Product knowledge. But if I don't have product knowledge, how am I going to sell it? How am I going to discuss it? How am I gonna get you to buy into what I'm selling? And not that we sell the Quran, but we're selling an ideal. We're discussing an ideal, because only Allah makes Muslims. But we're investing in an ideal. And so in order for us to do that, we have to have product knowledge, dear believers. So we have to read the Quran. We have to study the life example of the Prophet Muhammad and all the other prophets, because they're principles. Don't just look at it as, okay, how did he walk? Did he walk under this tree? Did he pass this guy? Did he, used to play fight like this? No. We have to look at the seriousness of Muhammad the Prophet's life, and we have to look at the seriousness of the Quran. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, You know, we're talking about investing in community life. And when we think about what an investment is, what is an investment? An investment, you know, a lot of times when we think of investment, we come, you know, it goes straight to, in our thinking, it goes to money. I need to invest in some real estate. I need to invest in the stock market, so on and so forth. But anybody who knows the stock market, they know that dividends are not guaranteed. Dividends is when you get your money back, when you get whatever you're trying to get back out of it. And so when we look at the religious life and investing in our community, as I said, we have to invest in ourselves first and know our community life first, and then we can start spreading out and investing, you know, spiritually and financially in other things. And Islam, when you put your time, your effort, your value, the value of yourself, because investment is just value, right? The value I'm putting a value on something. And when we put a value on how important, and you can't put a value on the Quran, but you can put a value on the importance of the Quran in your life. And you say, okay, well, if I read Quran, if I study Quran, if I study the Sunnah, and I work and I work to be like Muhammad the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then my investment is going to pay big dividends. Allah always pays back, you know, big time, bigger than any market you can invest in, bigger than any project you can invest in. Allah pays it back way more than you could ever imagine. And so we have to invest time into our families, but we also have to invest time into the society. And in order to do that again, we have to invest time within ourselves. And speaking of investments, you know, we have a lot of things coming up in our community in at Metro El Mu'minun People's Town that we're working to do. And we need money. We need money. I'm talking to all the business brothers, business sisters. We need money. We have a project down the street on land that we own. This project is going to cost about $30 million, but it's going to change the face of these neighborhoods. And then we got other projects that we're looking into all around this area to make this what? A model Islamic community. Isn't that what we're striving for? Model Islamic community. A community where you can leave your front door open. You know, a community where your children can play outside without you worrying about without them getting kidnapped. You know, or getting shot, so on and so forth. Model Islamic community. That's what we're looking for. And so we need money. We need investments. You know, you need to invest your money, invest your time. If you can invest your money, you can invest your time. If you have a skill, we need that. If you have a good spiritual nature, we need that. Another thing we're working on is the brothers' bathroom. You know, the brothers, when you come in, you know it's different over there. I don't know, the sisters may not have seen it, but it's different over there. It's beautified right now on the outside. Now the wudu station in the bathroom needs some work. We need money for that. And another thing is we're gonna fence in the children's play area outside, and we need playground equipment for that. So I'm making a plea to you to help us beautify our community, to make us a staple in Peoplestown, Georgia. And that's just a few that's just to name a few projects. And I want to say with Ramadan coming up, inshallah, it's something else we should be investing into, because Ramadan doesn't mean okay, now I'm gonna be the most perfect Muslim I could be. You know, I'm gonna be the best Muslim I can be. Because someone said to me, you know, or the saying goes, practice makes perfect. But I thought about that saying. I said, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You know, if I'm slagging behind in practice, and whether it's football or whatever, playing a trumpet or something like that, you know, if I'm slagging behind in it, then I'm not practicing perfect. And same thing with our dean. If I'm sometimes this, sometimes that, you know, I'm gonna watch this show or I'm gonna listen to this music or so on and so forth. I'm sometimes, right? We're sometimes. And so we can't be sometimes Muslim like we're playing double dutch. You know, you jumping in, jumping out. Hey, I'm Muslim. I'm not. I'm Muslim. I'm not. You know, we can't double dutch with the religion. It doesn't work like that. If you say I'm Muslim, then you're Muslim. If you say you're a Muslim, then you're a Muslim. What does Muslims do? We hear and we what? We obey. That's it. You don't have to tell me again. Once I hear it, I obey it. That's why we only wash our hair and our ears once. That's one of the reasons. We only watch it one time, right? I only need to hear it one time to get the message. So again, we need to productive community life. We need money from and skills. You know, if you're a plumber, how many do I help us finish off the sister's bathroom and the brother's bathroom? If you're a painter, so on and so forth. If you have those skills, if you have materials, so on and so forth, help us out. This is Allah's house. And think about it. When in the masjid, when you donate something and it's used to build something, even after we move to the next life, you're still going to be getting blessings in the next life. You know, some of us might, inshallah, we all make it to paradise, but some of us might not make it to the seventh level of paradise. Might make it to the first, the second, the third. A lot of us, we just want to get in, right? But if I have something established that I've established and on this earth, I'm still getting blessings for every brother that makes wudu. I'm getting blessings for every sister that makes wudu. I'm getting blessings for people who use the lights, people who use the facility that I help raise. I'm getting blessings if for the children playing on the playground. Blessings on blessings on blessings. That's what Allah does for us. He gives us plenty of blessings, right? Yes. And so He gives us plenty of opportunity for blessings. So I'm telling us right here, right now, you have the opportunity to be blessed. And not like I'm putting my hand on your head and throwing some holy water on you. You have the opportunity to be blessed by lending your time, lending your skill, lending your money to the masjid. This is what we have to do, brothers and sisters. This is investing in community life. Because if we don't invest in community life, then it will break down. But I'm going to tell you something. Our time is here and now. We have the spirit. We're getting the technical knowledge. Imam Muhammad said that it's not that we don't have, he said we have the spirit to carry the Quran. It's just we lack the technical understanding. And we're getting plenty of that now too. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Khayrakum man ta'allama al-Qur'ana wa 'allamahu." Said the best of you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily say, okay, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna speak to this person and teach the Quran. No, you're teaching the Quran by the way you live your life. We're teaching the Quran by the way we lead our life. If I lead my life as a Muslim, as a mu'min, then I'm teaching the Quran. Because people know I don't do certain things. People know I don't say certain things. And I'm telling you, if you mess up, they look for you to mess up. Once they know that you're a God-fearing person, they really look. Some people look for you to mess up, and then the happiness comes. Oh, you messed up. Oh, see, you got angry. Yeah. Muslims not supposed. Y'all peaceful, right? Y'all, you got angry, or whatever it may be. Oh, you looked at her the wrong way. I saw you. I saw you, brother. I saw you. I saw how you looked at her. We live in a society where Shaitan has lost his professionalism. He don't care anymore. He used to be in the closet and in the dark. Now he's just out and about everywhere you look. TV, movies, just on the street. Shaitan is very open, but we have to close that door. We have to contain that, and the way we do that is by learning Quran, studying the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu and reading Tafsir, and then implementing it. It's not enough just to learn it, dear believers. We have to implement in our lives and in the lives of others. And once we implement it in our lives, the lives of others will change as well. You'll have a better marriage life. You'll have a better relationship with your children. Because everybody, remember this, everybody has to return to Allah, one way or the other, whether it's in the ground or in this life. There are plenty of times with people I grew up with that they went out, experienced the world, and then they came back and said, I want to take my Shahada again. And I said, Alhamdulillah. But some people got to go through that, But then that's where the wisdom comes in. We had a discussion and people were talking about knowledge and wisdom. So knowledge is knowing it, wisdom is implementing it. Like I know I don't want to go to prison for 15 to 20 years. So I'm not going to do something to put me in that situation. I know, we don't want to go and do certain things that's going to put us in bad situations. That's wisdom. And if we lack the wisdom, then it'll come later when we go through whatever we're going to go through. And so just know this, dear believers. Ramadan is coming up. It'll be here in, I think, a little over a month. And so when it comes to Ramadan, don't start Ramadan when it starts. Start Ramadan now. Start being a good Muslim now. Or the better, not just a good Muslim, I'm sorry, the better Muslim now. You know how the whole army commercials play to your sensitivities? Be all that you can be in the army. That was playing to the soul. Be all that you can be in the army. Be all that you can be. Why? Because I want to be my best self. I want to be my best self. So we should be our best selves for the upcoming Ramadan and thereafter. So we're not going to be Ramadan Muslims. Alhamdulillah that we fast, we communicate, so on and so forth during Ramadan, but we shouldn't just be Ramadan Muslims. The message should not be filled like it is during Ramadan, just in Ramadan. We have other things that go on at the masjid. This is the center for us. This is our community life. The masjid saves lives. It saved mine. When I was 18 and finally moved out the house, because my father wasn't having, once you're 18, you're either going to college, going to the military, or you got a job and got out the house. If he was a man. That was part of my father's regimen of teaching you how to be a man. And alhamdulillah, it worked. And so when I got out the house, I started going to the masjid on my own. I tell I'm talking to the younger generation now. I'm talking to the older generation as well. You all came into the deen from a Christian background or another type of background, and we were born Muslim. I was born Muslim. I was born into an Islamic family, alhamdulillah. But I still had to accept the deen for myself. And a lot of my other brothers and sisters that are around my age, they had to do the same thing. They had to come to the realization that this is what I want my life to be, and not just because, but because if I just say I'm Muslim, and not practice, that's an oxymoron, right? That's like saying I'm a lawyer, but I don't practice law. I'm a doctor, but I don't practice doctrine. I'm doing a complete opposite of what I'm saying I'm going to do. So we have to understand that now is the time. Now is our time. Allah has made it very fertile ground for Islam to thrive, and we have to be the ones to help it make it thrive. Because if we don't, We're going to be left in the lurch, and it's going to move on to other people, and they're going to help make it thrive. So we have to get out and do our jobs, brothers and sisters. We have to do what we're supposed to do in the house and on the street and just in regular everyday life. So alhamdulillah, again, and I'm coming to a close now. Again, we need skills, we need money, we need time. Inshallah. If you can donate any of that, just know that you get blessings, plenty of blessings for it. Plenty of blessings. Alhamdulillah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Oh Allah, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of the fire. Ameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Style, make your line straight. Allahu Akbar.
الله أكبر.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين ويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إذا جاء النصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس كل في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله ذكر الله سبحان الله الحمد لله